welcome to Violet Light Tarot. This is another unboxing, a surprise one. I actually got this on a whim at the store the other day. I've been wanting this deck for a while and I just happened to have it in and it was on sale, so yay! So welcome to the unboxing and review of the Monday's Tarot, or the Mystic Monday's Tarot. They do have an exciting new deck coming out later this year, in a couple months actually as well. Crystal Grids, I think it's called. But this is my first time playing with this particular deck and getting to know it. I've seen it on varying videos and just the artwork from what I can see on the screen is amazing. So let's see if it's actually amazing in person, shall we? So the first thing I'm going to let you know is, as you can see maybe from the glare, is that the plastic is still on. I literally have not unwrapped this at all. And we're going to start out by noting that it's black and silver. So that alone in the packaging is awesome. I'm going to take this plastic off though so you can actually see the patterns. There we go. I'm not littering, don't worry, I'll put it in the garbage later. So yeah, so it's black and silver. You've got this great sort of a holographic effect on the top as well. I don't know if you can see how that's kind of like rainbowing right across there. And it's got this lovely pattern with the eye on the side, which is awesome as well. And on the back, we of course have images of what the cards will look like once we open the box. And the bottom just looks like the top. So the back does say, Mystic Monday's Tarot is your intuitive guide to spiritual connection. The tarot deck and guidebook are full of good vibes and colorful energy to uplift you and inspire you to listen to your inner voice. Monday is the traditional day to start anew. But with this deck, you have the power to make a new beginning any day of the week. Which is good because today's Friday. So the deck is by Grace Duong, according to that. I don't know if that's the person who created the deck or the person who did the artwork. We'll find out. It just says copyright 2018. There is something underneath there's a thing here and there's a little bit written under it, but I can't get this part off, so I'm just going to open this deck, though. It's really great because it's got this window, so you don't have to go, like, shaking the box until it opens, which happens with some of them. It's literally just, and off it comes, which is awesome. Woo! Okay, how awesome is the inside of this? First of all, purple. Favorite color in the world. Violet, maybe, even. Trust your intuition is written on the side, and again with, I'm guessing that's supposed to be the third eye. Intuition, right? So, just going to put that right there. Okay. Oh, just a little extra paper for whatever reason. So we're going to start off and we've got the guidebook, which is cute. It was in upside down. A little disconcerting, but that's okay. So this is a cute little guidebook. Again, this is another deck which you can just put in your bag or in your pocket or whatever. Again, depending on how big your pockets are, I guess. I'm thinking more like winter coat style pockets. The guidebook is glossy. You can see the reflection from the light. And each page, of course, has a single card for both the facing pages, so 2 of cups in this particular instance, and it talks about both the partnership, complementary duality aspects, as well as the reverse or breakup, clash, or disconnected. So right side up, reverse. That's kind of nice. I like that. Gives you more detail too, because sometimes with reversals, when you're looking at guidebooks, it only gives you like maybe the key words or a few pointers, but this is literally an entire description for each one. We've got the cool, oh, that's nice. I don't know if it's my eyesight or it looks like there's some pink going on. I don't know if it's the way the light's hitting it or if there actually is like a pink stripe going through here. If you can even see that. It's got the same kind of weird effect on the title as well. I love the colors of the book. The book's amazing. it doesn't go into any kind of spread details. It literally comes in like you're going, you see contents, and you go straight into the full description. It does have, yeah, it's literally, that's all it is. So you have Major Arcana, Cups, Pentacles, Swords, Wands. That's it. There's a little notice in here. Basically, it's similar to the back. So Mystic Monday's Tarot is your intuitive tool, or intuition tool, sorry, for spiritual guidance designed with intentional good vibes and a love of color. Energy is made of vibrations, and each color vibrates at its own frequency. This colorful deck is full of positive vibes that allow you to access answers for your highest good. And then again, it talks about how Mondays are for new beginnings, and the deck is your key to creating a new start any day of the week. So that's kind of nice. And just flipping through to the back, it ends with King of Wands, which is nice. I like the fact that they've got the court cards, or what you classify as court cards, in with their particular suits. Some books don't do that. They put the court cards separately, so you'll have the Major Arcana, then you'll have like the 1s through 10s, and they'll go through all the suits, and then they'll go later and come back and do the pages through Kings, or all 4 pages together, all 4 Knights together. And it's kind of like you're looking for something and you're like, where is it? You know. I like this idea though. Yep, and that's literally the end. And then on the back, you've got that same weird effect with this. Again, it's a glossy page. This is half, it looks like half, I don't know if that's teal. It's that weird kind of, is it blue or is it green color, you know? And then this side is pinkish. And that's really awesome. It's like a grid pattern, but with the eye in the middle. So that's cool. And the cards themselves. Oh, can't wait. Ooh, snazzy. So again, with the purple inside. No saying that time, but that's okay. Oh, and you do have the eye on the side of the box too, on the inside, on both sides. So the cards are lined in silver. They have the same eye pattern on the front, or on the backs of the cards, sorry, with the grid, which is awesome. And the cards themselves are, wow, okay, yeah, these are fabulously bright and beautiful. There you go. So, like, I mean, it's a little bit dark in here right now. I didn't want to do anything with the lighting. It's basically natural light coming in from the open windows. But you can see all the colors without any problem. I like the fact in these cards that they do a little bit different with the artwork. It's still similar enough that you can tell this is the Fool card. You've got the High Priestess here, but it's different in the fact that there's no... The person who did the artwork didn't do any actual faces. So you've got... like the High Priestess here. You've got... literally, it's a pair of lips, but there's no eye, no nose. It's very well done, so you don't have to worry about identifying necessarily with the card itself. So I know a lot of people are very much, well, how can it be the king of if I'm a woman who you're reading for? And or they'll say, well, that's great, but that card has, you know, blue eyes, that can't be me, or that doesn't really identify as me. So it's giving more of like an anonymous feel to the card itself. So you still have the male-female aspects, and again, you're working with energies at all times with that kind of thing. But in these, you also have that anonymity within the card, so you can more identify with what you're seeing as well, or identify that it's about the energy, because there's no actual sort of human feature. It's again lips and like the shape of a face, but not the features of a face, which is kind of cool. So again, not going to go through the entire deck, but you can just look at how vibrant those colors are. The deck is glossy, but not too glossy. It has all the standard cards, of course. 78 cards altogether. Just gonna see if they changed any of the names, because sometimes they'll change the names of the... There's the world. There we go. Okay. Sometimes I'll change the names of the major arcana cards a little bit. Like in the Witch's Tarot, the Wheel of Fate is actually called the Wheel of the Year, because that's a pagan thing. It's a witch thing. Not Wiccan. Don't say Wiccan. Wiccan is specific to the Wiccan lifestyle. So witches in general is kind of where they go with that. So you got Fool, Magician, High Priestess. We're not supposed to show favorites, but she is mine. The Empress Emperor. Oh, that's kind of cool. The Emperor's actually got like its bear claws, kind of. I don't know if it's a cape that he's wearing or what it is exactly, but there's bear claws like around his shoulders, as if he's being hugged by it. Ooh, that's the Hierophant card. That's your card of spirituality and basically all things to do with structure. So, yeah, I mean, if you're going to look at structures, the pyramids are the best, right? And then you've got the eye on top. So this is very... I'm getting a serious Illuminati vibe with that eye on top of the pyramid. This is not an Illuminati deck by any means. There are Illuminati decks for tarot, but this is not one of them. But that's what I'm vibing from that. You get the Lovers. That's so cool with the two flamingos. The Chariot. Now, this is an interesting take on the Chariot. The Chariot, usually when you're talking about it and discerning what the meaning is within the spread, you're talking about how the Chariot it's on the road and keeping the horses in a straight line and keeping everything going. Well, first of all, no road. we've got an ET moment here. There's no road. And we've also got the horse head at the top of the Chariot, but there's nothing pulling the Chariot. So you don't have that duality aspect of right versus wrong, good versus evil, that kind of thing. And you don't have that sort of balancing act that the Chariot can sometimes be depicted as. It's very much just a go with the flow and, up and away kind of thing. That's going to be interesting to look at. I might want to check the book and see if there's any kind of differential reading for that particular card as well. The Strength card, how about that? The Strength card is usually a woman and a lion. This is a white tiger, obviously, not a lion. So very different aspect with regard to that. And there's no human involved in this particular image, or human energy. This is very much just the strength and what the cat brings to it. So you've got a very large cat, so you've still got that strength. And that depiction of strength, but without any kind of... I'm trying not to use... The reason why I'm pausing is I'm trying not to use the word normal. But what you would usually see. This has got the Hermit. And again, I'm getting a feminine vibe from this, or at least a feminine aspect vibe from this, where mostly it's usually a guy in a cloak, and this is a woman who's fairly naked except for like what looks like a sheer around her from the waist down. But again, it could just be an effeminate male as well, so it's hard to tell because you're looking at it from the back. And again, like I was saying, it could be energies as well, and no actual depiction of human anything. So you've got the Wheel of Fortune. Sorry about the glare. I'm trying to make sure that it's in the light so you can see the colors, so it's kind of bouncing a little bit. You've got Justice. Again, perfect, because you've got the balanced scales, but again, no depiction of any kind of gender at all. The Hanged Woman. Taking a little bit of a different take on that one. I like this kind of Cirque du Soleil thing we got going on here with the ribbon instead of actually hanging from like a tree. Or I have one of the decks I have, the Muse Tarot, is somebody hanging from like a tightrope. And then this one we got the ribbon. That's kind of nice. A Death card. Again, remember that the Death card actually depicts just change and transformation. Temperance. Patience, balance, again, same as the Justice card a little bit, but this one's talking about more along the lines of patience and waiting for the different sides to go. Because you got it like it's a, what do you call it, teeter-totter or seesaw? The Devil card. I've always liked this one. I've seen this one in readings on YouTube as well. Sorry, I almost said on TV because it's where I watch my YouTube. But I've seen this. I just like the aspect of going up the stairs towards the devil energy, or possibly coming away from that devil energy, or leaving that depiction of it also being in the mind or in the head, or like a mental aspect, psychological aspect as well. You've got the Tower, which normally shows like a literal tower, sort of a Leaning Tower of Pisa, or a rook type tower from a castle, and this one is like, they're buildings with, this one looks like it's got a cone on top, so I'm picturing that building they have in Washington, the monument, that kind of thing, but these ones have flat tops, so basically like regular high rises. And then you've got the lightning striking as opposed to anything else. Now the lightning isn't actually striking, nothing seems to be on fire necessarily, because usually it shows things like the lightning's already struck and the top is coming off. The tops of these are raised above, but it's almost as if they're being lifted, as opposed to blown off, as I say. You've got the Star card. I mean, there you go. It's a star on a card. Again, you don't have the depiction of the woman, you don't have the lake, you don't have the pouring aspect, so this literally would be the star to follow, the star of hope, but without any kind of like human element or any kind of specific masculine to feminine energy aspect. It's literally just the energy of the card itself. The Moon. That's awesome. Sun. Again, you've got the character in this card is facing toward the moon or facing away from the world, so very internal, very introspective, and the Sun card is being very open, and it's got what do they call it? I don't know what that particular hand gesture is. It's what you would do if you were meditating. I'm being very careful not. I was trying to do it, but then I thought there isn't a hand gesture that's very close to that's actually derogatory to a certain particular group of people, and I don't want to do that accidentally and offend someone. But yeah, it's kind of the difference between those two, and you've got the wreath as well. The Judgment card. I like the Judgment card because it looks like it's actually a mirror. So instead of being a doorway necessarily, like you've got the doorway back here, but this looks like a mirror that you would have to look at. So basically the judgment of self as well. And then lastly, you've got the World card, which is, it's an atom. It's basically, it's the smallest depiction of a world as possible, because an atom in and of itself is a world. So that's awesome. I love that kind of concept as well. So that's the major arcana, and you've got the minors as well. I'm just going to really quickly just skim through a couple of them just to see if the aspects are different. Some of, again, I hate to say favorites, but some of my favorites. And by favorites, I mean ones I've seen most often. So you've got the Lovers cards. I like this because it's inclusive. So you don't have it. Both of them are very androgynous. So you can have any kind of significant other aspect you want from these particular individuals, which is kind of cool. And then we have, where's the 10? Oh, there it is. So that's the 10 of Cups. So an entire, like it's an entire circle, and you've got the card in the, you've got the, it's almost like a diamond, but it's very similar to the Star card and the World card. So it's basically surrounding that. So you've got your whole world, as it were, has come together. And the Four of Pentacles is literally just the Four of Pentacles. So usually you have an aspect that looks like it's either a monkey or a person being very... they're holding on to their coins very, very tightly. But in this, they're in a case, so you still have that aspect of things being held onto. They're separated by exact distances as well. So somebody's very carefully set their money aside. They're very carefully holding on to it in a very specific fashion. So you still do have that kind of sense of control. The Five of Pentacles, you still have the person sitting outside. You've got I don't necessarily see a pauper look in this. I see that the person is sitting on the ground outside, so that kind of aspect, but I don't have that very... It's almost like a leprous feel that a traditional deck would have. And that's your Seven of Pentacles, or your investment harvesting card. Your Nine of Pentacles, which is basically independent wealth and I guess self-assurance within your own finances. The Ten of Pentacles. These are rings, though. It's weird because these pentacles don't actually have a pentacle aspect. They feel more like rings. This feels very much... I don't know, the image of the symbol for the Olympics is kind of coming to mind. I don't know why. I guess because if you turn it this way. But take these off and take these off, and there you go. But that's kind of that's a weird vibe I'm getting. So again, inclusive worlds, right? But the Ten of Pentacles is supposed to be the be-all, end-all, that you have absolutely everything you've always wanted. The Knight of Pentacles, so the absolute business tycoon, as it were. That's a little specific for what they're doing with that, because with the beard and the hair color and everything like that, it's very, very specific for me as far as what they're showing. The Ace of Swords, so the card of truth. The Two of Swords. Now this is kind of interesting. They've done it more as sickles instead of swords. I mean, they're still swords and they're not quite that way, but the curving of them, to me, looks more sickle-like. The Three of Swords is very specific as far as... That still looks like the Three of Swords. That's how that looks. I'm going to look at the 9 and 10, because the 9 and 10s are very specific to what their meanings are as well. So the 9... Yeah, the 9 is very much, the swords are all pointing toward the head of the character as well, so very much that you're in your own headspace with regard to your anxiety and your stress level, and the keeping up. So this person's literally fetal position, but sitting up. So you're kept up. Maybe she's rocking back and forth, in that very much with the anxiety, etc. as well. The Ten of Pentacles, or Ten of Swords. You've got... Yeah, that's pretty accurate. The sword's all stuck in the back, and you've had it, you're done, that kind of thing. Sorry, I missed out on the Eight of Swords as well, because the Eight of Swords is the card of entrapment. And yeah, this is somebody who is... Again, take the blindfold off, remove... It's just the ribbon that's going behind her, or rope that's going behind her, although it's kind of thick, so it looks more like ribbon, is around her arms, but it looks like she has the ability to reach up, take the blindfold off, and she can literally step between the swords. So you still have that same aspect that the entrapment is self-inflicted. Now this is interesting. The Knight of Swords is supposed to be the fastest moving according to a traditional deck, and he's standing completely still. He's examining his sword. He's maybe examining the message that he's providing, or reviewing it to be able to provide to you. But he's standing still. He's not moving at all. The Two of Wands. Now, the Two of Wands usually depicts not motionlessness. It's pretty much the Hangman's card or Hanged Woman in this particular deck's card, but for the minor arcana. This doesn't really show me that. This shows me the beginning of a road. This shows me like the start of a journey. So this is almost like the start of... It's almost got a Six of Swords vibe to it without the actual motion. It's really strange. Let me see what their Six of Swords looks like. I can show you that really quick. Okay, so you've still got the waves. You don't have the boat. You don't have the person sailing or the person in the cowl or cloak, but you've got the swords basically on the waves or on the water, so the motion of them. So that still works. But yeah, this one's it's a road. It's not, or a ribbon. This almost looks like, I don't know, maybe it's because I watched Wreck-It Ralph recently, but I'm seeing this as being like candy ribbons and then like a fruit roll-up. I haven't eaten lunch yet. That could be it too. The Three of Wands is also very strange because usually you've got a ship coming in, and I don't have a ship on this at all. There's no ship on here. This reminds me very much of pillars in the water. You've seen in movies sometimes where somebody skips across, like balance, 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 and keep going. So something going out as opposed to coming in. The Four of Wands, that's interesting. This is usually the depiction of things like weddings or celebrations. Seven of Wands is fairly accurate as far as being, and by accurate I mean they're all accurate for what they're depicting. It's just this is very similar to what you've seen in other decks. The Eight of Wands is interesting. Normally the Eight of Wands are coming toward, they're coming down, but this appears to be going out. So that's interesting. This to me has more of an aspect of like, instead of being wands, what I'm really identifying with in this is jet streams. Like, you know, if you see a jet in the sky and you can see its trail, because it's going lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter, heading towards the sun instead of maybe heading towards enlightenment. The Sun card as being the happiness, the thing that you really want. Again, I'll have to look at the book and see if there's a difference between that and what you really normally see. This looks normal as far as the way it's normally depicted for the Nine of Wands. The Ten of Wands, yeah, there you go. So you've got that. You still got that sort of burden aspect as well. One last card I'm going to do before I do the compulsory shuffle to make sure that they shuffle okay is the Three of Cups. The Five of Cups is... It still has the 3 upright and the 2, or maybe it's this way where you got the 3 down and the 2 up, which is normally how it's done. Sorry, that's out of frame. It's sideways though, so you've got the 3 cups that are facing down or spilled, and the 2 cups that are upright. You just have to kind of tilt it the right way, because if you tilt it the other way, then it's the exact opposite, and you've got 3 that are upright, and everything should be okay. But the one I really wanted to look at was, and where did it go? Just had it. Hang on. Bear with me. Judgment World, Ace of Cups, 2 of Cups, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hang on a second. Did I misplace it, or am I actually literally missing a card? That would be intriguing if the 3 of Cups actually isn't even in the deck. That's all the majors. Ace, 2, 4. Again, paying attention to what's on the ground and not what's being offered. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I know you're absolutely loving me counting. I'm very specific to the fact that there is no... I will do an addendum or a marker at the end. Right now, if I find it, like if I happen to have put it down or something while I was... There's no 3 of Cups in this deck. At all. It's not on the floor, it didn't fall. It's not on the shelf, I didn't put it down. It's not still in the box. Is it in the book? Is there a 3 of Cups in the book? There is. There is supposed to be a 3 of Cups in this deck. That's interesting. Yeah, so it's supposed to be in here. It looks like this. I don't know if you can really see that because it's kind of tiny. But it just shows 3 cups kind of like with a heart connecting them. A symbolized heart, not a heart. Yeah, for some reason that particular card is missing, so I will have to contact the people who make the deck, I guess. I can't really say it's the store's fault for not giving me, because it was completely packaged, so it wasn't the store that did it, it was whoever packaged this particular deck. It's off. I am only gonna shuffle a couple of them though, because I don't want to, if I have to give them back, I don't want to have to realign too many. But yeah, if anybody's looking for these, the shuffling ability is perfectly fine. It's a bit humid in here too, and the gloss on the cards isn't making any kind of issue as far as that's concerned. Anyway, yeah. So I will give you an update on what's going on with regard to that 3 of Cups. Like I said, if I get anything before I upload this, I will put it as a line underneath, the same way I do with like pile 1, pile 2 kind of thing. But yeah, if you happen to have this deck, let me know if you've ever had a card that was missing. That's kind of odd. Very unusual. But I will let you go now. This has been the opening, unboxing, and review of the Mystic Mondays Tarot. 77 of the 78 cards. And the book. I hope you enjoyed this. Please like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification as well for upcoming videos. We, of course, have at least 2 coming up this particular coming week, because there's the weekly as well as the new moon reading. And there's your end of month ones coming up as well for the varying zodiac signs. If you'd like a personal reading with this deck or any other deck, or a combination of decks, which is what I usually do, in the description as well is the link to the store where you can purchase individual specific readings to your energies. Have a really great day, weekend, week, month, whatever, whenever you get around to watching this. Have a really great time. Thank you again for joining. It's been really fun doing this. I really love this deck, except for that. I mean, unfortunately, I'm giving it a 9 out of 10 because it is missing a card, but that is literally the only reason. Otherwise, it's a 10 out of 10. This is an awesome deck. Yeah. Thank you again for watching. Bye for now.